From the studios of Farm Journal Broadcast, this is AgDay.
A life lost in farm country.
We arrived on the scene. We heard that it was going to turn into a recovery instead of a rescue.
How this family is trying to prevent another tragedy. Another round of job cuts are coming to the meat industry as producers look to make every dollar count amid tight margins.
That price has skyrocketed.
What that means when it comes to the fertilizer industry and prices right now on AgDay.
AgDay is brought to you by Pioneer.
Ben's bins, please hold.
Yeah, Ben's has been busy all day.
Seems like no one can keep up with this new Z series. What did you all put in these seeds?
Science.
Good morning, I'm Clinton Griffiths. As grain prices continue to sink, input prices remain high. And that has many farmers cutting back on things with fertilizer at the top of the list. AgDay's Michelle Rook joins me. Michelle, what does this all mean for the fertilizer market?
While fertilizer prices are off of their record highs, some products have started to push up in price and may continue that trend through fall. It's largely a function of lower production from some of the main global exporters. So farmers now have to make the decision if they should wait until spring to make fertilizer purchases or make cuts in their program. Farmers are facing higher prices for some fertilizer products for fall, just as they're being hit by some of the tightest crop margins ever. Experts say potash prices are stable, but some phosphate products like commonly used MAP has shot up as much as $70 a ton and is at a premium over DAP.
Price of MAP, $11.52, which is what a lot of farmers across the Midwest use, that price has skyrocketed. It's up probably $50, $60, $70 a ton and created an intense separation issue between the two. MAP is usually a typical $20 a ton premium over DAP. Today, closer to $100, and that's all because we've cut off a lot of these world importers.
He says Chinese exports are down, Brazilian production remains offline, and European fertilizer production is down 25% due to high natural gas prices. So some nitrogen products have also seen price appreciation.
Nitrogen, we've seen anhydrous go up since we got the summer fill values. UAN has been holding relatively steady. Urea, actually that's been holding steady, but enough supply problems. We're worried we could see a little bit more upside. We could see that price up $25, $50 a ton if the right scenarios play out.
He's referring to an escalation of Middle East tensions. So Linville thinks phosphate prices could be even higher in the spring, depending on demand, as farmers are already cutting back for fall.
When you look at the DAP and MAP price versus where, let's say, corn is, some of the worst values that we've seen, the ratio between those two products going back to 2018.
Agronomists confirm many growers are cutting their fertilizer programs for 2025, but instead of slashing across the board, they advise taking a strategic approach to preserve yield.
So what fields can we pull that fertility back without a negative impact on our overall yields, and what fields do we probably need to leave the fertility there? And once you do that, you may see that I can, instead of cutting $15 across the board, it may be more economical to cut $30 on one field and nothing on another because you don't have the fertility there to give up.
Ferry adds cutting fertilizer rates on portions of fields rather than whole fields based on soil tests will provide more bang for the buck. I'm Michelle Rook reporting for AgDay.
All right, thanks, Michelle. The continued belt tightening on the farm also continuing to impact farm equipment sales right now. The Association of Equipment Manufacturers has just released its latest flash report, which continues to show significant sales declines. Now, it shows that in the first 7 months of the year, sales of 40 and under horsepower tractors were down more than 14%. They're down more than 8% for under 100 horsepower and down more than 6% for 100 plus horsepower tractors. Now, four-wheel drive units, they appear to be a bright spot, up 5.2%, while the sales of combines, they're down 17.6% so far this year. Market watchers say the issue continues to be lower crop prices and higher interest rates. There's also an oversupply of unsold tractors and combines leading to price cuts and incentives to move that unsold inventory. A developing story we're following: more job losses in the meat processing industry. Tyson Foods announcing job cuts at its chicken processing complex in Wilkesboro, North Carolina. In a statement to AgDay, a Tyson Foods spokesperson says due to increasing demand, it is shifting production from the facility to support its fully cooked products. It says as a result, fewer positions will be required at that facility. However, it did not say how many positions would be cut. The Wilkes Journal-Patriot newspaper reporting over the weekend, one local official told them nearly 500 jobs would be impacted. The changes specifically involve converting the fresh plant in Wilkesboro into a bulk processing facility. That means chicken will be processed to a stage where it is ready to be sent to other Tyson facilities for further processing and packaging. Now, Tyson says its priority is to assist affected employees by offering them other opportunities within the company. Tyson employs about 2,500 people at the Wilkesboro complex. Heavy rain is now on the way from the Central Plains into the Midwest. Meteorologist Matt Engelbrecht has more on just how much rain farmers in those areas can expect.
Yeah, as we look at that extended forecast, the amount of rainfall set to come down. Now, we're not looking at a lot of tropical moisture, but there is going to be enough moisture out there for some rainfall, possibly some minor flooding as we get closer to about 2, possibly even 3 inches of rainfall over the next 24 hours for a few locations. And then we'll start to see this spread with the heaviest rain back up here towards the north into Wisconsin and into Canada. And then another push of some moisture and kind of see how this connects to a weak cold front moving through portions of Tennessee, also into West Virginia and Pennsylvania, where we could get up to about 1 inch of rainfall or so. Notice a blank spot on the map. That is going to be where that ridge of high pressure sets up. So you got the ridge here and a trough that's going to swing a cold front through. In fact, a few boundaries will be moving through, really squeeze the atmosphere back up through Iowa in the immediate future, and then this is going to spread more downstream into the northeast as we go through the next 7 days. So remember, though, this has nothing to do with what's going on in the tropics. This is all available moisture in and across the United States. And what a beautiful sight to see here in Texas. Look at that. They're showing off a bit of corn harvest so far. It's fair to say that's a lot of corn in there. Now you just need a grain cart. I'll have more on your forecast coming up.
The market is continuing to digest the latest corn and soybean yield and production forecasts from the USDA released on Monday. It also got a surprise when it comes to cotton. In its first survey-based update of the season, it's forecasting cotton production at 15.1 million bales. Now, that's down almost 2 million bales from last month, with the all-cotton planted area lowered by about 500,000 acres. Now, the yield, it's estimated at 840 pounds per acre. The harvested area is expected to be 8.6 million acres, which is down 11% from last month.
I think cotton production was another one that perhaps below trade expectations, and not by a little bit, by probably below the bottom end of trade range by 700,000 bushels. And part of that coming up from a loss of cotton area of more than 500,000 acres. So 500,000 acres less cotton area than suggested in the June acreage report based upon FSA data, and yields not much changed. And so that gave you a lower production number than the trade range was expecting by several 100,000 bales.
Exports are reduced 1 million bales due to lower world trade and the smaller crop. December corn in the 3s, November beans in the 9s. These are the latest market realities. We'll discuss that next. And a reminder about grain bin safety from a family in North Dakota. Their story today in the country.
Earn revenue through the Bear Carbon Program. Simple, flexible, certain. Learn more at bearforeground.com/carbon.
There will soon be a new person in charge at Starbucks, the company announcing its CEO, Laxman Narasimhan, would step down immediately. Now, Chipotle CEO Brian Niccol will replace him, that decision coming just 1 year after the now former CEO took over the role. The company recently reporting sales dropped 3% globally as stores open for at least a year. The change also comes as Starbucks stock has fallen 17% for the year. Niccol is set to leave Chipotle at the end of this month and begin his new role at Starbucks on September 9th. Corn futures on Tuesday taking back most of the gains made on Monday as soybeans continued to move lower. Michelle Rook is back with more in Markets Now.
Well, another down day in corn and soybeans on Tuesday. Tom Fitzgerald with Summit Commodity Brokerage back with analysis. More new contract lows in soybeans, or at least new lows for the move in soybeans, Tom, on Tuesday. Was that report hangover, or did we just add insult to injury with the weather and these ratings?
Yeah, I thought obviously that report doesn't help matters any, and then you came in with the crop condition rating unchanged, which shouldn't have been a huge surprise because we really had pretty good growing conditions last week. But anyway, that the anticipation was that you'd see a % drop, and we didn't. And then you look at the weather forecast really out for the next week to 10 days, and things look pretty good. I mean, if you buy into the old line that August weather is so critical for soybean production, well, you get a forecast out for another couple of weeks, and you've pretty much got the whole month of August covered without a lot of adversity. So, that's going to lead people to wonder if that September WASDE report isn't going to show another increase in carry out and put us up in that 600 million bushel plus carry out for new crop soybeans.
Corn could not build on its bullish reversal from Monday. Was that just because soybeans pulled that market down?
Well, soybeans and wheat certainly didn't help the corn market. But I mean, that corn number wasn't all that friendly. I mean, it was only friendly in that it wasn't as bearish as some people thought it was going to be. Again, we had a good crop condition rating, came in unchanged when they were looking for a slight increase, so that didn't help the corn market either. And then you've got the farmer sitting on this huge chunk of corn. Then anytime it sticks its head up, you got them moving a few bushels here and there. So, and just like in the soybean market, you got pretty good weather for corn fill. So, that rally yesterday, a lot of people like to talk about a key reversal, but I don't know that it was all that key or that it was ever going to go that far given the supply-demand situation.
Yeah, certainly a lot of headwinds. Thanks, Tom. Tom Fitzgerald with Summit Commodity Brokerage. Well, more AgDay coming up.
As we just talked about, coming up for our Wednesday, we have a ridge of high pressure building back off here to the south and to the southwest into Texas and Oklahoma. And then in between the ridge and the trough, some showers, some thunderstorms will be working through in and across parts of the United States. Now, this is kind of what's called an inverted trough. So we're going to get a little lift in the atmosphere that will sustain some of the showers and perhaps a few thunderstorms. Severe weather threat, it's not zero, but we are looking at a low severe weather threat into parts of Illinois, but also into Wisconsin and back down here into Missouri. So there's going to be some pockets early Thursday morning where we may see some stronger thunderstorms. Now, this is going to wrap up as a low pressure system, which means we're going to get a few waves coming through. So this is Friday at 9 a.m. As we pointed out earlier, this is all going to wash out into some light to moderate showers working towards the coast. If timing is just right in the afternoon, you may get a few isolated thunderstorms. I want to point your attention to kind of the jet stream setup into our Saturday night and Sunday. You got a trough as well as a cutoff low in and around parts of the Midwest. That is going to induce not only cloud cover, but also rain showers in and around that circle. Match that up with the ridge that we've been talking about the last couple of days back down here to the south. So here you're looking at hot and dry, there cloudy, cool with rain. In between, we may get pieces of energy that kick up some showers and thunderstorms, but it's not going to be as consistent as what we'll get over the Midwest. But this is kind of a classic system with the ridge into the trough. That's Saturday again at 7 p.m. You see the jet stream kind of plays out in that same scenario that we just looked at by Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. There's your cutoff low and then your ridge. In between the two is where we may have some of those stronger storms or at least some heavier downpours. Start off with Ashburn, Missouri. You got some morning thunderstorms, high of 78. Salina, Tennessee, partly cloudy, high of 88, low of 67. What about Connecticut? Mostly sunny in Moodus, high of 85.
Now here's something well worth sharing and proves one person can really make a difference. Lauren Schroeder is a member of the Scott County 4-H Club in Iowa. In less than 2 years, she has donated 7,000 pounds of fresh produce to several nonprofits in the Quad Cities area. That adds up to about $15,000 worth of food. And she was recently named one of Hormel Foods Corporation's 10 under 20 food heroes for her work. She will receive a financial grant from the company, and she plans to split her winnings between a soup kitchen in Davenport and Liberty 4-H. Now, Lauren says she plans to expand her garden and add organizations to her donation list through her first year of college. Well, pork exports are sputtering even though prices are lower. We'll have those details coming up next. And as harvest preparations begin, a farm family in North Dakota is reminding folks to stay safe around their grain bins. That's today in the country. New export information shows that shipments of pork through the first half of the year remain ahead of last year's record pace. The U.S. Meat Export Federation diving into new numbers from USDA. It reports that June pork exports totaled more than 224,000 metric tons. That's down 9% from a year ago and the lowest since September, while export values fell 5% to over $659 million. However, January through June volume still reached 1.52 million metric tons. That's 3% above the first half of 2023, while export values increased 5% to $4.26 billion.
Korea continues to perform on the pork side, 20% growth year on year for the month of June on volume, 30% growth on value, and the year-to-date numbers through 6 months at 135,000 tons, 33% growth through June, and on the value side, 38% growth at $460 million. So Korea, without a doubt, is really one of the markets, in addition to Mexico, that's really driving the ship so far this year.
Other top performers for U.S. pork in June included Central America, the Caribbean, and Canada. Also released in this week's supply-demand report from USDA, new livestock production forecasts. And when it comes to pork, forecasters are expecting reduced production. Now that's due to lower slaughter and reduced dressed weights in the third quarter. It's estimating that production at more than 28 billion pounds, which is down about 91 million. USDA puts the average barrel and gilt price at $59.38 per hundredweight. Experts are lowering pork exports for 2024, and they're also reducing the pork export forecast for next year. Now, farmers stored record amounts of the corn and soybean crops in 2024. As those bins get cleaned out, a family in North Dakota is urging farmers to stay safe. Their story next. We're coming up on harvest time, and that means long hours, with producers working overtime to get the crop off the field and the grain bins ready. Too many times that can lead to farm accidents, and often they're deadly. As Jody Kurzman of AgDay affiliate KFYR reports, one family in Mott, North Dakota, unfortunately knows that all too well.
Oh, Grandpa putting the grandbabies to sleep.
Renee Jordahl's phone is filled with pictures of her dad.
Oh, this video is my favorite. From my eyes, he was invincible.
Renee's dad, Ray Greff, was a devoted husband, father, and grandfather.
There he is.
Ray's passion was farming.
The man loved to work hard.
Earlier this summer, while doing what he loved, Ray died in a grain bin accident.
It was a challenge.
Mott volunteer firefighter Justin Hansen was on that call.
And when we arrived on the scene, we heard that it was going to turn into a recovery instead of a rescue.
He was 67 years old.
In the midst of their grief, Ray's family decided to do something to help others.
There's the family vacation.
They donated money to the Mott Volunteer Fire Department to purchase 20 grain bin rescue panels and a grain auger.
Takes little effort.
The panels allow first responders to build a sort of wall to keep grain away.
You can make a bigger area to work easier around the victim and give us more room.
And then you put a cordless drill on the top, and that augers the grain out of the area.
It is equipment these volunteer firefighters hope they never have to use, but they say now they feel a little better prepared.
Every second counts.
But this is the last time they came to visit us.
As the Greff family works through their grief, they hope this donation might help keep Ray's memory alive.
He loved the community a lot. He loved the people.
And they hope this donation might help keep those people in Ray's beloved hometown a little safer.
Let's help them help someone else.
And that, Renee says, would make her dad happy.
Yeah.
In Mott, I'm Jody Kurzman, reporting for your news leader.
And our thanks to Jody Kurzman of KFYR for sharing that story with us. And that's all the time we have this morning. We're sure glad you tuned in. From all of us here at AgDay, I'm Clinton Griffiths. Have a great day.